This is for topic area 4, creating a marketing mix to support a product. This is 4.9, factors to consider when pricing a product. So when we are pricing a product, there are 3 factors that we need to consider. So this is all to do with how to get new customers, but also how to retain existing customers. And when you come up with a price, you need to put a lot of thought and consideration into that. So there's 3 factors that you need to know for this course. You need to think about the income levels of the customers, the price of any competitors' products, and also the cost of production for your product. So first of all, if we look at the income levels of customers, we know that when you do a lot of research into your market, you can find out exactly what your customer will look like, what their sort of age, gender, geographic location, occupation, income, all of those things about your customers. So when you know what their income levels are, you can use this information wisely. So you've got to set the price of your product based on those income levels. It's no use pricing it too high because your customers won't be able to afford it. And sometimes if you price it too low, then people might not be interested in that particular product. So obviously you've got to do all the research first. You need to have a very clear idea of who your customers are before you make any of those decisions. You've got to be particularly careful not to price people out of the product. Next, pretty obvious one, look at your competitor products. So you've got to look at who your actual competitors are first of all, do a little bit of research, look and see who your rivals are. Then you're going to do some research into those particular competitors and see what their prices are for their similar products. Now this is really important because it's no use looking at who you think might be a competitor and looking at one of their products if it's got completely different features than the product that you're selling. It has to be a similar product. So by doing this, it actually enables you to maybe sell products at a potentially lower price, and this will allow you to attract customers and get more people to buy your product. Obviously, you need to think that no matter what your competitors are charging, you've got to make sure that your prices are high enough to make sure that you make a profit. The other thing that you could look at is price always a good thing? Will it always get you more customers? So we have looked at this in the past, and you've got to consider that certain products, sometimes charging a higher price gives that illusion of quality. Finally, we're going to look at cost of production. So in the other learning outcomes, you will look at the different types of costs as shown in the graph down here, and you need to think about how much it's going to cost you to actually produce the product. So you've got to put a price on your product that makes sure that you make a profit and make sure that you cover all the outgoing costs. Obviously, you also need to think about your price over time, and if the outgoing costs go up, then you're going to need to adjust the price of your product to make sure that you are still making profits. So, little example here. This is one particular product. We're looking at the Mercedes EQC. It is the first electric car from Mercedes. So how did they come up with a price, and how much is that price? So the actual price of the picture shown here, this is the AMG line, which is the top of the range model, is £72,000. Now obviously £72,000 for a car is a lot of money, and that's going to price a lot of people out of buying this particular vehicle. Fortunately, Mercedes have done a lot of research and they know what their customers earn. So one of the things that they've looked at is their existing market research to look at the income of their target customers. So people that can afford to buy a brand new Mercedes car, this is still within their price range. They've also looked at other electric cars. So this particular car has the Audi e-tron, the Jaguar I-Pace, and the Ford Mustang as its rivals, so they can compare it to those other particular vehicles. Now the Audi e-tron and the Jaguar are similar prices. The Ford Mustang is a lot cheaper, but they will probably see that their Mercedes is a better quality vehicle, and that's how they can afford to charge that amount. Finally, they're going to look at production costs, so they will make sure that that 72,000 covers all of the production costs involved. They've actually been very clever, Mercedes, and they've used a Mercedes GLC car and basically just swapped the engine out for an electric engine. They've also made minor modifications to the look of the car, but all in all, it's not going to cost them a lot in production. So that is the factors that you need to consider when coming up with a price. If you've got any questions, drop me an email and I'll get back to you.